college and from high school. Well, not from that, but I want to get to something else that you're doing right now, and it's RecruitingScoop.com. Tell us about what's going on with this website. It's not quite up yet, unless I'm mistaken. Tell me if I am, but as far as I know, it's not going to happen until the year rolls over into 2014. Tell us what's going on with this website. Tell us what's going on with the Twitter handle and what you're trying to accomplish with the site.
Sure. RecruitingScoop.com is it's an interactive website that is also a tool for recruiting purposes on both ends. When it comes to recruiting, it's kind of like the chicken and the egg. You have the players that are getting recruited, and then you have the coaches that are recruiting them. A lot of services out there are usually only catered to one of those groups, and they're usually trying to get money from one of those groups too. Ours is a little different. We're really trying to cater to both groups, and we're not trying to get money from either. It's going to wind up being a completely free service for everybody to get on, communicate, build profile pages, and basically get the conversations rolling between players and coaches. And recruiting budgets, I think, are gonna really appreciate this. People that are in charge of, flying coaches across the country or driving from place to place and going into 5 to 10 schools a day, all those trips and all that gasoline that's spent and all those overnight stays at hotels. That we're really trying to do our best to help colleges at every level eliminate some of that. We're trying to facilitate the interaction. We're trying to basically our hashtag is make contact. So we're trying to get coaches and players to make contact with each other, and it's sort of in the form of a Facebook look, but not quite. And with this, with all the laws and NCAA bylaws these days with recruiting, you have to be very, very careful that you do it properly and make sure coaches are definitely afraid of getting in trouble when they enter into this stuff. So we're going to make sure, we're 100% sure that this is all totally legal for all levels of NCAA coaches to get on our site, use it as a tool and as a database, and hopefully just let it grow from there. And the Twitter has shown us now. We've really opened up Twitter about 3 weeks ago, just kind of started opening up and talking about what we're doing and getting a few kids. Started out pretty local down here in Atlanta just because I'm here, but we also started up back in Buffalo because I have some connections up there. And it actually has already spread all the way across the country. We've got high school athletes from Ohio, New Jersey, California, Texas, you name it. And we're up to about, I think we're about to hit 800 followers in about 20 days. Wow. We've been open. So I think when the actual site launches early January, we're planning on January 1st. It should be a great day to launch with everything going on right after Christmas and right in the beginning, really, of recruiting season and the heart of it. Hopefully it just explodes and we can get all these kids to get on the site officially. And we'll still do a lot of things through Twitter, to help people out and help people with the site. But we're going to try to transfer everybody to the site and just get everybody going and communicating with each other. And hopefully we can get the right people recruited. The reason we started really was because I started noticing that some of the recruiting services out there are charging kids a lot of money. And, in my mind, I would say, what about those kids that don't have $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever they cost to build these profile pages online and talk to these college coaches? And, there's a lot of kids that don't have that money to do that. So we're really, trying to cater to those guys and make sure everybody has an equal chance of getting found and getting recruited and getting noticed. So that's the push behind it.
Nice. That's a real nice, beautiful equalizer for people who don't have those outlets. People who don't have those same connections as maybe other people do, or same finances. So
sure. You'll see a lot of these kids don't have high school coaches that want to get involved in their recruiting. I hate to say it, but there's plenty of high school coaches out there that just want to go home at the end of the day, and unfortunately, you got however many kids on that team that aren't going to get what the team down the street is doing. They're not going to get those benefits. So, like you said, it's an equalizer. Exactly.
Yeah. I want to ask too, Nick, as far as I know, the hashtag contact us. and getting people involved early and often with this. Is there a way for someone listening right now or someone pulling up our podcast, besides Twitter, is there another way that people can find you to get more information before the site gets up and running in January?
Not really. As of right now, it's just at RecruitingScoop is the Twitter handle. If you went to RecruitingScoop.com, you would just see basically our homepage, and it talks about the camp that we're running down here in Atlanta. We're having a camp on May 31st right in Norcross, Georgia, which is just north of the city of Atlanta. And if you're familiar with Georgia football, you know that Norcross is probably the most talented hotbed of high school football, maybe in America. They're playing in the state championship on Saturday versus another team from this exact region, which is really ironic. If you look at the whole state of Georgia, you can put your finger on Norcross, and you can say that is where the best players in this whole state live, and it's just proven by the state championship game that's going on. So you'll find that on our homepage, but really as of right now, it's just a Twitter situation to find us there. We also have the Facebook page, RecruitingScoop.com on the Facebook page, and they're just linked together, so some of our stories are on both.
Nice, very nice. Yeah, we've pushed the Twitter handle as much as possible here on Making Sense, and we'll continue to do that on our Twitter handle at MSW Sports, so be on the lookout for that. Nick, man, if there's nothing that we've mentioned that you want to throw out there, now is the time before we let you go. We definitely have enjoyed having you on, but if there's anything else, I know you mentioned the training camp that you guys are going to be doing in May. Other than the website, other than the Twitter handle, anything else that you want to share with anybody before you depart?
You know what I would do? I would love to say good luck to my Bulls. All those boys back there, they all know I'm rooting for them. We got some Georgia boys up there playing for UB right now, and I'm sure there will be in the future. I'm going to keep pushing the UB football program and to these guys down here, and anywhere those coaches spread out to throughout the years, they're great friends of mine, and I'm going to do my best to help them out and send guys their way. But for right now, I'd love to see the blue helmets out there on the blue field, man, picking up a win over San Diego State. Boy, that would be awesome, man. So I'd say go Bulls, man. Put the horns up, That's it.
No doubt. Idaho Potato Bowl, there is no doubt. We'll be talking about it here for sure when it happens. And listen, hopefully we can have you on at some point in the near future. We appreciate you coming on. You stay warm down there in Georgia. Don't worry about the snow. We'll take care of it up here, and you have yourself a good night. Yeah,
man, no jacket needed, man. It's just it's hoodie weather down here at nighttime. That's about it.
We're so jealous. Hey, thanks for coming on, man. We appreciate it.
All right, you guys, take care. Thanks.
You too. Again, folks, that's Nick Bach. You can find him at RecruitingScoop on Twitter, and very, very soon, at the beginning of the year, RecruitingScoop.com. I don't know if anybody can hear it. I'm kind of fighting a cold right now. I apologize. Good get, man. That was a good interview. I enjoyed that. I like having some local flavor on, especially when they're outside of the area. And he sounded pretty enthusiastic about everything. So anyway, I figured that having him on would actually be a good way to segment into what was going on as far as college is concerned. I'm sorry, Mike, what were you saying?
I sometimes I leave my phone on mute, and I'm just talking away, and I got enthusiasm. I look down, it's such a killer, man. But I was going to say, it's good having people like that wanting to help in a situation where players want to advance themselves more than their superiors. And it's good having people like that, like Nick, setting things up, and like the guys he's working with at RecruitingScoop.com and on Twitter. Players don't have the same outlets as other players may have. They may be less fortunate in that sense. And I think this is going to be something that's going to be used to kind of level things out. And I'm excited to see what talent comes through, especially hearing I kind of got my juices going down there in Georgia. He's saying that the hotbed of Georgia, where the best players go to play. I'm excited to see what happens there, and I'll be following. I'll be on the website. We want to link up with Nick to see what things he has going on down there and kind of use it as a bridge from Atlanta to Georgia, or from Atlanta to Buffalo. So I really like what's going on down there, and we're appreciated what he's doing. And it's a good movement, it's a good cause.
Yeah, what I really like about it is the fact that he said it's going to be like a database too. It's not just going to be, that, and the fact that he said it's going to be like a Facebook type situation where people can go on and talk to one another and connect to one another, and it's going to be more interactive like that. But also the database that he said, the information that's going to be available to coaches and to other players about what's going on with other players and about what's going on with schools and with coaches. That, to me, I think is the biggest thing that I don't want to say we didn't talk about it, but maybe if we can have him on in the future at some point, we kind of push that a little bit more where we say, look, this database that you're talking about, like how far does it go? Are we talking about having bios on every single player? Are we talking about having information as far as 40 times, things like that? Is that something that you're trying to get across, or is it just something where you're trying to be a social network type situation? So if anybody's interested in that, ask him. Go to Recruiting Scoop on Twitter. Ask Nick. He'll tell you. There is no doubt. And then go to the website, especially if you're trying to be recruited or if you're trying to check it out. There is no doubt in my mind that if you go to this website, it's something that you're going to be able to use for the future. It will be a tool for you, especially if it's at a very, very low cost. Like Mike was saying, like Nick was saying, it can bridge a gap that you weren't able to bridge before because of the cost. So to me, it sounds like it's going to be a great thing for a lot of people that are going to need it. So, good for them. Honestly, it could be something that just completely blows up. Football is just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and more often do we see shows, and not just shows, but things on TV that are gearing more towards high school players going into college, not just college players going into the NFL.
Yeah, and if I'm a student athlete, and I'm saying, I wish there was something that I could use to say, here's a site where you can go find my information. Here's my bio. Here's my stats, things that are recorded that I can tell my friends, hey man, go look and see what I did last week or my career before I can go to college or coach.